Hello, everybody. Glad we're here. We're having it's actually raining pretty bad. Well, not too bad. It's raining though, and we had some internet outage for a second. So hopefully it doesn't cut out because uh, because that would just suck just overall. Um, so anyway, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hopefully, everything runs smoothly for this whole time. People have been asking about different workouts and stuff that you could be doing for grappling to supplement your grappling because that's like really, really important. So, with that being said, I recorded a talk about this with Cindy. So we're going to run that shortly. But I kind of wanted to add a little bit something that we kind of touched on, but didn't really explain it or we didn't really expand on it. So I want to just briefly mention that before I play the talk that we had. But ultimately, people were asking about different things. So there's different aspects of like fitness and stuff that you want to be working on. One of them, because I briefly mentioned like using like battle ropes and stuff like that. So, but I didn't talk about like why that might be good and how it's like because we talk about like cardio and stuff. So stuff like battle ropes will be a little bit different, right, than like regular cardio. And so what like how like they help or even like doing like sprints or basically high intensity interval stuff, that's going to help you but in a different way from cardio. So you want to be thinking about cardio as like something that's so easy to do that you can say like you can jog for 20 minutes or more, or you can be on the bicycle for 20 minutes or more, stuff like that. That's what you want to consider cardio. But we have different types of muscular endurance that we want to be working on. So say like when you're grappling, you're going to be hanging on to someone. You want to like really you're using your arms to hug them and to pull them to you so that they can't get away. So then you're kind of in a isometric contractions. That means like you're constantly pulling on them and you're not releasing. So you're not like doing like a bicep curl where you contract and relax, contract and relax. Um, so as like in like as like the match progresses, so you hang on to them, they're moving around, you want to switch to a different hold, right? You want to continue with trying to submit them or whatever. So so your muscles are kind of relaxing a little bit, but there's still some kind of tension. So that's what like battle ropes or any kind of say like what interval training can help with. So when I talk about interval training, I'm not talking so much about what you might see as like high intensity interval. So like there's people who try to say like oh, you if you do high intensity, you can only like you can get a whole workout for a day in only like 15 minutes or something like that. No, I'm talking about actual intervals. So let me give you an example right now of something that you can do on your own. So say like if you don't have battle ropes or whatever, and if you're just going to be doing some kind of sprints or something. So one thing you can do with let's say like in a jogging situation, so you'd be jogging outside, right? And then this is an actual method that's used by runners to also improve their speed. So what you do is you're running outside. So not you can do it on a track if you want, or if you don't have a track. So I want to try to give you the example of like if you don't have a track, you're outside. You're able to run a certain distance. So if you're in a city, what you can do is you gauge like a certain distance. So you say like one like the end of the block. I'm gonna be jogging, right? So your normal speed, and then until the end of the block, I'm gonna sprint, but then I go back to jogging. So you don't stop after that sprint, right? Some people will only do sprints, over and over. I would say do this type of interval training where it's like you go high intensity and then you come back to less intense, but you're still moving, right? So that's different from like doing a sprint uphill and then when you get to the top then you walk back down and then come back up. So no, this is something that should help you to like be able to recover better during your grappling match, especially if it's like a longer match. You're both evenly skilled, and you can't easily beat the other person. So you can do that for like I would say maybe at least 20 minutes if you can, right? Or you can work up to that. So then what that would be was like, so you have a certain period of just jogging. So maybe like a minute, right? And then you set your sights on a distance that you know you can sprint, and then you sprint there. But then you just slow back down to your normal jog, and then you can see another so you can jog for like another minute, minute and a half, or 2 minutes or whatever, and set your sights on another distant uh, like a tree or the next house or the end of anything, right? And then you sprint to that, but then you do not walk. Do not walk. You go back to your jog. So hopefully you understand that. So then you do sets of intervals in that way, so that you're never rested. You're never completely resting, right? You're never like having some high intensity use of your muscles, and then you just go to rest. No, I would prefer that you do stuff that doesn't do that. You want to allow your body the opportunity to try to recover while you're still active. So that's what like runners use to help to improve their speeds, their times and their runs, because then you get used to running harder and not fatiguing. Battle ropes, you can do that for your arms. So stuff like that. So yeah, there's different things you can be doing. I can't really think of a. You can. I would say like maybe you can make battle ropes on your own somehow. But there's all kinds of uh, things you can do to make your own ropes. Even if it's, yeah, try find your way. That's your project, right? So that's one thing we kind of didn't elaborate on. So that's why I wanted to throw it out there at the beginning, and then let's go ahead and like play the video. So now Cindy will jump in.
Today we're here with Raul from Catch Wrestling Alliance talking about what can we do outside the gym to improve our grappling.
Yeah, it's actually a bunch of people have been asking, and so yeah, there's all kinds of exercises that you can be doing, and it's never like a one size fits all kind of thing. So ultimately, yeah, you should be doing something, but also try to find something you like, because if you hate like it's good. Well, if you hate some activity, I don't want to like say anything in particular. If you hate something, then chances are you're gonna quit. So if you love grappling and you want to kind of support it, there's all things you can be doing, right? So, is there anything you do?
I lift outside. I see like a personal trainer once a week. Plug, aggro. Oh no, I don't remember his plug. We'll plug it in later. But, like I see a trainer like once a week, and I try to do stuff outside of that too, like maybe like cycling or like jogging and stuff to keep up my cardio.
Yeah, so that those are like so it can be anything, so it doesn't have to be some fancy gym that you join, you can even follow like YouTube videos of people working out and stuff. But there are some things that might be more ideal than others, so let's go ahead and talk about that. So if you're thinking about, like, if you love grappling, you should be here because you love grappling or wrestling and stuff. So just think about the common like movements in like your sport, right? So chances are in grappling, right, we lift a hug, right? So you're grabbing someone and then you're kind of pulling them to you, whether it's like the wrist, you're trying to pull the arm, or their entire body, right? You give them a hug and you try to squeeze them to your chest to prevent them from moving. So all those types of movements in like an exercise perspective, they're all like row, any kind of pulled back. So that would be like, we call it rowing, right? In weightlifting. So anything where you pull back. Okay, so it could be if you happen to have a gym where you have a cable machine or an actual machine, or
You can do it with like just dumbbells.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You have dumbbells, right? You can do like a bent over one, so you can standing, or you see some people what they lay face down right on a
Yeah.
bench, right, and they pull up. You can always find some sort of modification for whatever equipment or lack of pro equipment that you have. So yeah, it's just like you can kind of bend over and like lift something up so that you're pulling up and you're really activating the muscles between your shoulder blades. That's what's going to really help you to keep someone from moving once you've grabbed them. So then another thing is, so you got to try to get the different angles. So a row is kind of more like in the horizontal plane. So you also want to be like, since we kind of like lean forward, right, in grappling, so you kind of want to get used to pulling down. Right, so if you're reaching up, you pull down. So in exercise, we call it lat pull down. So that one is a little bit more difficult if you have some like, if you want to do it at home, if you have any kind of resistance bands or something that you can buy, like rubber bands, you put them in a door and then just pull down. Right, so that's basically just pulling down. Right, so it's just a different angle. But I would say those are two angles you definitely want to work on, because the lat pull down is actually how you are going to be like. If you stand up wrestle, right, so you're going to be reaching a little bit, like not straight in front of your chest, but a little bit elevated. So lat pull downs, like something you want to be doing. And then also using your legs, so any kind of squat, so that includes all the variations, so like lunges or even like the Olympic lifts where like you squat down, grab the bar, and then use your legs to lift the bar, even if you lift it all the way up to your shoulder height, right? So all that stuff where it's like you're putting all the pieces together and all the parts of your body are working together. Those are really great things to do as well. So, but what if you hate lifting? Right? So I would say just do it. No, you don't have to. Yeah.
Well, I think I've read this quote, like, discipline is going to take you farther than motivation is. So like the understanding that like if you're really dedicated and committed to jiu-jitsu, then you understand that it's something that you need to do. So like even though if you don't like it, I don't like it, but I know I have to do it to get better. So it's like homework. Like you don't like it, but like you still have to do it anyway. Like so if you don't, again, no one's forcing you, but like you gotta want it. You gotta want to do it, like discipline, you know.
Okay, great point. Yeah, because it's almost like maybe I was kind of going down the path where it's like there's always different like alternatives, but ultimately you got to find ways to be doing these movements and outside of your training, because these are the movements you use in your training or in competition. So that's what you want to be thinking about. I think even like, so I used to be a trainer, so a lot of times it was all about like finding things the person can do to be exercising, but ultimately they have to be exercising. So so you said you do like different types of cardio. Is there anyone that you kind of like, or you just hate them all?
I prefer cycling just because I can sit there and watch something or something to distract myself. Running, it just sucks, and plus I have asthma, so it makes it a little more harder, but cycling, I like cycling.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, cycling is cool. Do you ever do like even like do you just? Oh, so you say you like you'll just get on like an exercise bike and then you can like watch anything or do.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever do like a spinning class?
Never.
You ever tried?
No.
I've never tried, but it looks like it might be a good workout, right? It got so popular like over the pandemic.
Yeah.
Everyone got the Peloton and all that stuff. Yeah, so it looks like it might be cool, right? But yeah, I haven't done that either. But yeah, anything that like so like you said that you found the type of cardio you like doing. So I often actually, because I always feel actually the best benefit from like actually going outside and jogging, but I kind of fell out of love with that. So I also use the machines, like the elliptical kind.
Oh well, LA isn't very runnable, and I've had horror stories with the treadmill. Like I think it goes by numbers, like the speed. I thought it was miles per hour, and I used to run outside with like the tracking app, and it would be like, oh, you run at 5 miles an hour. I'm like, oh, okay, that's like jogging, whatever. So I put it at 5. But that's like near max speed. So I nearly like flew off the treadmill. So I don't do treadmill much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you didn't film that, or you didn't get thrown out? All right. So that would have been a really cool blooper we could insert it. No, but yeah. So yeah, you kind of got to get, and that's the thing too. You kind of like, so yeah, like these machines and stuff, they simulate where you can be running, but they're also designed to minimize impact on your knees and also. So yeah, I heard it's like you have to. Even to kind of get the same impact from running on a treadmill, you actually have to put an incline, like one degree, or like basically 1 unit of measurement up, and then it becomes closer to actually. So there's all these differences, right? So, but ultimately, if you got to be doing some kind of cardio, and then on top of that, so I personally really like doing yoga, but I usually do like the at first I didn't know I was gonna like it, but I enjoy like the hot yoga stuff, so just sweating a lot. But they do a lot of movements that we use in wrestling, so they do a lot of like bridging, or some of you do like headstand stuff, or so, these things that help your neck, or but even with yoga, again, there's all these different variations, all these different styles. So if you want to get into it, then try different yoga studios and stuff, or you can even check out a bunch of different like YouTube videos, see all these different styles, and see if there's something that you like. But I kind of like yoga because you are kind of like doing a lot of wrestling positions, or even a lot of technique stuff, and still using your muscles and stuff. And but so let's actually talk about the different benefits, right? So regardless of, say, like whether it's yoga or lifting weights, or if you have time to do all of them, please do. But like, how is it benefiting you? Besides, we kind of mentioned like there's like the practical aspect where it's like a lot of times we're doing rows, or like hugging people when we're grappling, but they also prevent injury, right? So doing like strengthening the different joints. So say like we pull, push, pull down, push up. Those are all movements that involve like our shoulder joints. So the stronger the muscles are like around any joint, the more protection the joints have. So that minimizes your chance of injury. And like also too, another function, right, of our muscles is to absorb shock. So if you get thrown down, like I said, it's like we wrestle and grapple and stuff. So there are takedowns and different kinds of slams and whatnot. So you definitely want to be taking that on your muscles and not like straight on your skull, or not on your bones, right? So you want to take them on our our natural built-in shock absorbers. So not only does it provide strength, it provides protection in different ways, right? So prevention from injury, and also like the shock absorption.
But what about the people, like you're talking about the muscles around their joints and strengthening that, but what about the people that say like, oh, if you lift heavy, that's gonna make you less flexible, or they advise against like heavy lifting?
Well, basically every professional sumo wrestler like can do the splits, and like, so it's like if you are not flexible, it's because you're not stretching, or you're not using the range of motion. So I guess that's another reason why I say like I like yoga or whatever. It's because like you're doing stuff that requires you to use your range of motion, and that's usually what's going to help keep you flexible. Because sometimes like also too, like people get like they hate stretching, right? So, and it can be boring if you just sit there and do the different positions, right? But so I guess like yoga and other things too, like kind of turn the stretching, or they do activities that require your range of motion. So doing things that require a good range of motion usually can help you maintain your flexibility. So actually, even for the Sanda, the Chinese kickboxing, traditionally, I don't usually do this in our UCLA classes, but a lot of times, like especially in the forms training, you do all what they call stretch kicks. So you actually do kicking, you do lines where you walk across the room, and you have to have your posture up and your arms out, and then you do each kick right to the max, right, as you walk across the room. That is it's a form of what we call dynamic stretching. So using the range of motion in an activity helps to keep you flexible. So because your body's basically thinking like, well, if I'm not using a range of motion, then I don't have to keep those tendons long or flexible or whatever. So that's why a lot of people have problems. They talk about like what the desk jobs where you're just sitting around all day and it's just wrecking people's bodies, because if you're just seated all day, your brain's like, well, I don't need to stay flexible, I don't need to stay strong. So there's all these different consequences for like not moving. So that flexibility is one thing that where like someone can be very strong, but if they're not using the range of motion, then you're not going to be flexible, so that can be a problem. But you can be lifting. Right there was a thing circulating the internet the other day where like one of the big time UFC persons, like, and it doesn't even look too big, but was lifting like super heavy, right? But still like winning in the UFC. So it's like there's these kind of, it's still, I would consider that more of a myth. Yeah. Yeah, because if you're doing an actual activity or like say grappling and stuff, I mean, you're not, I don't know, you're not gonna have like these huge. They show what this guy from like, was like India or whatever. He injects like oil into his muscles, so they're all like balloon looking. I don't know. There's like there's so much crazy things on the internet where like people are injecting like oil to kind of. So those kinds of things like will make you lose your range of motion, but usually like your natural muscle, it's chances are it's not too big of a deal. And I kind of give like the example of the sumo wrestlers is a pretty good example. They're like basically all the ones I've seen, they all can do the splits in all kinds of directions, and they're all like heavily muscled under the layer of softness. Yeah, they're all like they're pretty. Actually, they're very strong, but very flexible. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about that though? Like,
I try my best to lift heavy, but I think it's just getting used to movements and stretching. The more you do it, the more you get flexible. So, I think it's a myth. And I think people have brought up like the Bruce Lee thing, like, oh, he only lifted like whatever pounds, and I'm like, well, he was a small man.
mm-hmm.
So it's probably like relative to his size, it was probably a lot for him. So
Yeah, well, actually, you brought up a good point that we didn't talk about, where you can lift too light. That's actually, it's almost like you can't exactly lift too heavy because like your body's going to adapt to. Say if you're used to 50 pounds, your body's going to get used to it, so you can jump up to 55 and you keep going, right? But there actually is too light. So if you are doing weights, and if there's, so say if I'm doing 50 pounds, right, and I can say I'm doing a chest press with 250-pound dumbbells, and it's like so easy I can go over 20 reps, that's too light. And it's and if I'm not doing that movement for over 20 minutes or whatever, then it can't even be considered cardio. So it's not as useful. So if the weight is, you're too used to, it's too easy to move around for too many reps, then you got to bring it down. So actually a good range might be within like the 8 rep to maybe 15 rep range. Because I don't want to be too precise, right? So it's like that you can, if you're lifting in the gym, just think about that. Where it's, if you're going beyond 20 reps and you can still keep going, add more weight. Yeah, so you can like lift too light, really, and it might not be as beneficial as you think to do so much, or like, well, even punching with, maybe punching with the weight, because if you are kickboxing or whatever, but we're talking about grappling over here, so that might not be as beneficial.
then what is the sweet spot for weight?
Yeah, so it's like almost depends on you, what you're used to. So like if you get to the point where you're used to 50-pound dumbbell chest press, and you get to 20, then you gotta make that jump like to 55, see until you get used to that, and then 'cause your body's gonna get used to it, and then in a few months, 55 will be pretty easy. You'll get beyond 15 reps. So I think maybe what like for you at home, or just think, well, if you're going beyond 15 reps and you're definitely nearing 20, then think about adding more weight. Yeah, so it doesn't matter what weight. So if your shoulder, yeah, we just said like chest press 50 pounds on each dumbbell, then you gotta increase. Yeah, so one person's lifting light might be another person's lifting heavy, right?
Yeah.
It just depends on how much they're used to. Yeah. So does that kind of answer some questions?
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there any kind of lift that you like?
I like legs.
Like, okay, fantastic.
I don't like upper body because my upper body's really weak. I work with like 10s and 15s, and I struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, at least for legs, I can go into the triple digit. I know that's not a flex, but like that's a flex for me considering I'm a small person. But
Yeah, triple digits is great.
yeah,
Because no one can really go to four.
Yeah.
No one can lift like 1,000 pounds, or maybe, but it's that could be the point where it's like too heavy,
Yeah.
where it's like it's not necessarily going to be so useful for your grappling. But hey, if you get used to it, where you lifting cars and all that, fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So find things that you like, but yeah, try to incorporate those moves. So think about the movements you do in your sport. We're here on a grappling wrestling channel, so we're thinking about those kinds of movements. A lot of times pulling, like rows and all. You can even say if you like battle ropes, you can kind of do that for muscular endurance, but make sure you try to do it where you burn out quickly. If you're there for like hours and hours, then it's something that's too easy. So you can't like think about that, because even your matches aren't necessarily going to be too long. So you gotta get the most value out of your time. All right. Any other questions?
I think we've exhausted my list of questions.
Okay. Cool. All right. So maybe we'll go ahead and end it here.
All right. So you hopefully you enjoyed that, and we got some questions here. So let's go ahead and let me pull this up. Where'd it go? Oh, here they are. Okay. So I'll go ahead and show it on the stream here. Let me see. AZ Ray videos. I've noticed to an early post of yours that having an able and athletic body is important. I know you said Farmer Burns prioritized his body to make sure he was conditioned and prepared. Yes, great memory, AZ Ray. Yeah, it was really cool. If you ever want to go back to some of our early streams, they're up there. We kind of go over. Actually, I have it right here. Let me grab this. So actually, we go over a couple books, right? So one of them, this one you can get on Amazon, right? They collected all of Farmer Burns, like he did like a correspondence course. So really similar to what we have like online now, right? So our Catch Wrestling Alliance Academy, where you can learn online and all that. So they were doing that back in the day, right? So just through mail, right? Because they didn't have internet at that time, so or computers, right? So this book and another book. So Farmer Burns mentions a lot about basically taking care of your body, right? It's like if you want to be wrestling, and especially for a long time, you gotta keep fit. You know, to keep those muscles strong. You got to be flexible, right? So, check this out. So, hopefully, you can kind of see this. Like practicing like a back bend and all that. So, range of motion stuff. These are all the things that Farmer Burns prioritized, or he wanted to make sure that you were taking care of yourself, so that you can wrestle for not only the short term but for the long term. They have like the results will will show that you can still do these things like for decades, right? We also go over another book. I don't know if I have it right, but it's called The Life's Work of Farmer Burns. It's a little bit different, has more just different writings of his. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is covered in both. So the one that I just showed you, I think you can easily find that one on Amazon. All right, let's see, what's the next question? Uh, all right, what are some of the basic calisthenics or simple workouts to start competing in jiu-jitsu the end of March? So does that mean you're going to be competing in jiu-jitsu in the end of March and you want some workouts? I'm just going to take it as that, right? So, um, yeah, try to find the things that you like, but yeah, just we kind of talked about it in the video where it's think about the movements you use in your sport. I would say any kind of like squat type thing or lunge for your legs, any rows, like so you're pulling the person, trying to hang on to them. But you can also then balance the rows with any kind of push, like a chest press or shoulder press. That'll just help keep everything balanced. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is nice. This is a great. All right, catch wrestling all the way. Thank you very much. All right, let's see what's the next one. Hmm, Tug of war. So Taquero Man, tug of war seems like a fun workout to do. Sounds like a good workout. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so like if you don't got a buddy, you can use those battle ropes, right? So you get a long rope, put it around like like a pole or something, and so I'm thinking you probably don't have to like buy specific battle ropes. You can. I've seen some gyms where they just get really thick rope from the hardware store or something, and they wrap it around something, right, to to make them functional. Yeah. So ultimately, it's like try to find things that you will do, right? Or if you kind of don't like something, yeah, still think like this should be kind of like your homework outside of class or outside of your training session, and think about it that way, where you can continue doing it. So like like you can be creative. It doesn't have to be a one size fits all thing. I guess that's from my personal trainer experience. You can always find some route to get the good benefit, and you don't always have to do everything the same way as everyone else. Right? There's a bunch of different things. Actually, we didn't even mention. I mean, because I've never even taken a Pilates class, but I hear a lot of good stuff about it. So that might be what you like. I don't know. And so yeah, there's always these different things. Um, Let me see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Good thing you brought. So taquero man. Some people make the Bulgarian bags out of inner tubes. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know what those are, it's like a moon shaped bag. It's weighted, and so you can do the different like lifts. So say like yeah, if you don't have access to the gym for the big bar with all the plates and all that, doing these different types of lifts where you bring the weight, or in this case, the bag from the ground, and you flip it up, put it over your shoulders. These types of full body movements are really good. And like how you just pointed out, it's like people are finding ways around, like if they don't have the Bulgarian bag, or if they don't want to buy one, or I'm sure some are probably expensive, or and there's different kinds, different companies make them. Some what you can fill with water or whatever, all different kinds of things. Oh, let me see. Oh, so Takeru Man has done Pilates. So Pilates is awesome and super hard, to be honest. Yeah, so maybe I'll check it out one day. Yeah, um, yeah, because a lot of people do it. So it's just like I don't know. So I'm not against it or anything. All right, Easy Ray. I'm not sure what I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, here we go. Is this what you mean? Okay, I got a bad right elbow. Definitely trying to work out and be smart about it. A bad knee too. Yeah, yeah. So, um, main thing is yeah, trying to still use the range of motion, trying to still strengthen these joints. That might be something that also like a physical therapist would tell you to do. Um, yeah, yeah, no, sounds good. So that's actually you bring up a great example. So like there could be different things that prevent one person from doing one activity. So that's why there's all kinds of alternatives. And so you got to be like flexible in your mind. There's different different roads that lead to the goal. Yeah, so try to be creative, think about still using your body, still finding ways to use the range of motion and do activities that you would also find yourself in when you're grappling. So like like we said, like pulling, all types of pulling, muscular endurance stuff, all that stuff helps. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, Iman workout is a high intensity interval training routine. It means like in a minute or something. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If they say if it's like you're done with your whole workout in like just a few minutes, then I think your body would require a little more time. So yeah, doing like how I described in the beginning, these like say like the running type of of interval training. I think that'd probably be more beneficial, especially if you can draw it out longer. Um, also you can try to do stuff with. It depends on how much equipment you have. So if you have some really nice gym, sometimes they'll have. I'm not sure what the technical term I think is like a hand ergometer, right? So they have some kind of like crank system where you can be pushing with your hands. So it's like you're doing cardio with your arms and not your legs. 'Cause that very beneficial in like a lot of gyms that are like conscious of say like people who not only want to work out their arms, but say like if someone can't use their legs for a certain reason, and say yeah you're coming back from some injury, knee injury, or you're in a wheelchair, then you can still get your cardio with your arms. It doesn't have to be legs. So um, you can kind of do. I would say like that'd be really cool. Like if you're doing the hand ergometer at a reasonable pace, and then you have the battle ropes right nearby, and then you do high intensity, and then you come back to the hand ergometer. That'd be like a hand version of running outside, and then sprinting, and then coming back to the running speed, and then sprint, run. You got to be like doing that type of high intensity intervals. That's really going to get you that better benefit where your body can adapt to like recovering while you're using a lot of strength. Yeah, I can definitely. AZ Ray. Yeah, I can definitely build muscle more on my arms and legs, and I'm sure that would help. Yeah, yeah, cool, cool. Sounds great. Oh yeah. So AZ Ray. Yeah, I like a hand bike. Definitely use that machine. Yeah, I should just call it a hand bike instead of hand ergometer. Easy Ray definitely helps with the elbow and forearms. Yes, exactly, exactly. So yeah, yeah, like I said, what all roads, what is that the saying is all roads lead to Rome, right? So um I guess maybe not all roads, but exercising around, there's a lot of different exercises that you can do to support your grappling, right? So think about it, be creative. Yeah, if there's like some injury you might have, there's something you can or cannot do. Think about ways to like get these movements in. I guess we didn't really talk about it in the video, like the benefits of stretching and stuff like that. It goes beyond like being able to like do your motion or like the having the proper range of motion. It also really prevents injury, and so that's another benefit you want to think about because That's kind of like why people who have like desk jobs, like they're always getting injured. It's in the news a lot, right? There's a lot of research about it where it's like if you're not using your range of motion, then you have the lack of flexibility, and then say it can result in all kinds of nerve pain and stuff because then the nerves are getting more compressed and stuff like so. It's like a big chain reaction. So I want to just emphasize the importance of stretching. So so I think maybe like so a lot of people really hate stretching. So I think that's one of the reasons also why I brought up yoga and stuff. So it's like doing activities that require a range of motion. So kind of like make stretching fun for yourself if you just despise stretching. So like if like if you're the type of person where it's like you're done with your workout and you're like, oh, let me stretch, and you just kind of like try to touch your toes once and then you leave. That's definitely not enough. So yeah, try to find some other kinds of activities that you can do to help you. All right. Oh, cool. I'm probably gonna butcher your name, but is it Maya? Uh, Massages are important too, right? Epsom salt bath, sauna, cold water. Yes, yes, but not all of us. I guess what I'm saying, like, in case you don't have access to these things, um, it's I guess maybe it's like a slightly different topic. But yeah, all these things are beneficial. Like the heat, our body loves sauna. There's actually more and more research coming out about the benefits of sauna. Um, and so it's kind of like also there's research also talking about like the benefits of hot yoga and stuff, which I think would probably be similar to the sauna benefits. It does have like a cardiovascular benefit. Yeah, massages. So I think massages also are similar to when we talk about stretching. Don't consider it as stretching, but it still helps. So when you talk about or when you think about muscles, right, they're collections of fibers, right, all together. So a percentage of the fibers can be remain tight. So even after you stretch. So massages can help relax and release these fibers that remain tight. So you don't necessarily feel that they're tight, but you can feel on someone else. You touch their muscles, and if it's like tight and they're not contracting, right? They're not flexing or whatever, and it still feels like really hard. That means a percentage of the muscle fibers are still locked up. So massaging will help. The cupping, right? A lot of athletes are doing cupping now, where they put suction cups on. That helps stretch out the extra muscle fibers, so you get more thoroughly relaxed. Yeah, so all these other supplemental things. So see what you can add. It'd be great if we all could just work out and then roll over into some nice sauna and bath and then get a massage right after that. It'd be so awesome. So yeah, see what you can do. Like these are all considered even like self-care stuff, but say for the athlete, you want to try to incorporate as many as you can. All right. Okay, so Black Maya, you said it right. It's Nawat for bear, right? So yeah, I kind of I was assuming it was Nawat, but I didn't want to assume too hard. Right? So cool, cool. I'm glad it's Nawat. So yeah, thank you for commenting. Uh, yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see Native American languages or native. So we're talking about when I say American, talking about like the whole continent, right? Even or this whole hemisphere, right? Because it's not just United States. All right. Anybody have any other questions? I'm hoping that this kind of helped. Just even if you're not grappling, find ways to use your body so that you don't become too inflexible. and strengthening the joints will, help protect your body, as you get older. Like one of the things that talked about a lot, say like doing different training for like senior citizens and stuff, is the balance. And if unfortunately, you know, older generations, especially for women, they weren't encouraged to exercise so much. So then you'll like when as you get older, if you're not doing exercises, and even like the bones will be less dense, and so that if you fall down or if you have some accident, then you can get more injured because you don't have the muscles there to absorb the shock. So you can get all these different types of problems, right? So um, you want to be active. You want to. So I guess that's one thing we didn't mention, right? So like the weight bearing or the activities and stuff like that, they also help with the bone density. So there's so many different benefits. So you want to be thinking, get all those benefits, right? You don't have to pay for that so much. Like if you go outside and jog, or you can make all kinds of like the um Taquero Man talked about, people making Bulgarian bags on their own, finding different things to lift and stuff. So all that stuff is good. So Tlakmaya, like basic calisthenics, like push-ups, squats, abs are solid too, right? Yeah, yeah, really good. So if you feel like the only thing I would say is like say for we'll take push-ups for example. If you can be doing like 50, 60 push-ups all at once, then have someone stand on your back or something. Like find things to weigh yourself down so you can uh bring that down a little bit to make it more difficult, so that you can only, I would say ideally that you can only do like less than 20 push-ups, and that will help you to also get stronger. Um, so if that is your goal, so like yeah, if you get if your body weight becomes so easy for you to lift, then yeah, put on a backpack or with books, or some kind of something to weigh it down, and make just continue to make it harder and harder on yourself. That will help you to continue to get stronger. Yeah, bone density, interesting for longevity. Yeah, very serious. It is, but this is stuff like they don't really talk about. But say like for me, that it comes from even like I was trained at UCLA for like the personal training stuff, or even as like as a physician. You really some schools that talk about say like geriatrics, or like treating older people. It's all really about that, but maybe it's not so glamorous, so you don't really hear too much about like the bone density aspect from like the online Instagram trainer and stuff like that, but very important. So for men and women, but yeah, just they talk about like culturally how say like in Western culture, the older generations of women in particular weren't encouraged to work out or do all kinds of sports and stuff. So they'll definitely suffer more with that. But it doesn't. It affects both people. And the thing is, like, so say, like, if you're a senior citizen and your bones have been found to be less dense, it's not. It's not like a death sentence, but it is something you can work on. You just start working out, and your bones will get more dense. Thoughts on swimming exercises? Yeah, it's I would say consider swimming a little bit more cardio than something that's weight bearing, because the water disperses your weight so much, so that it's not so much of a weight bearing thing, but it's very, very good for cardio. So yeah, excellent, excellent. So same thing. That would be like similar to cycling or doing spinning stuff like that. A lot of these exercise bikes, even the treadmills, right? If you step on them, they have a little bit of bounce or give. All these things are designed to be like what they call like low impact, so minimizing the chance of injuries like to your knees and whatnot. So swimming happens to be something like that where it takes off some of that. Well, it takes off a lot of impact, right? So, but in that way, it's still good for your cardiovascular system. So whatever you like doing, go for it. Yeah, Easy Ray. Yeah, keep Lucha Libre alive. A lot of people really like. Well, yeah, a lot of people don't really know that. That's basically the what they called freestyle, and then that's why. So, like in the Olympic Committee, where it was called amateur catch as catch can at first, then eventually they switched it over to just calling it freestyle. Yeah, like my yeah, Lucha Libre does have Flemish, Belgian, and French roots. Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, like one of the earliest what pro wrestling matches in Mexico documented being French wrestling, or what we call Greco-Roman. Yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think we had a pretty good conversation. Thanks to everyone who kept commenting and all that. Uh, really cool. So hopefully we can all chat again. That was really cool. I really like the Nawat as well. Are you do you happen to be in if you're still watching do you happen to be in the United States or Mexico or I'll wait a couple seconds. Okay, so uh, feel free to keep asking questions. If not, hopefully this was informative for you, kind of because a lot of people from time to time ask about different types of exercises and different things you can supplement your grappling. All right, you're in Guanajuato. So cool, very cool. Really cool. So we have people from different countries joining the streams. Awesome. I heard that YouTube's going to have a new function where they're rolling it out, where they're using AI to automatically dub videos. So people in the near future, will be able to say if it's a video in English and if they speak a different language, then they'll click to have an automatic dub of the into whatever language they want. So that'd be kind of interesting if they have some of the native languages. But we'll see. I'm sure they probably will have like of course like languages like Spanish and French but I wonder if they'll have stuff also even like Mandarin and stuff. So uh, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but in the meet. So anyway, I think I'm bringing that up because like I was hoping to do more videos in different languages, say like even in Spanish or Mandarin and stuff. But it'd be kind of cool if one day we can even do Nahuatl. That'd be awesome. But I think what YouTube is beating me to it. Yeah, interesting. I believe you have Spanish videos too. I have a few, and then one of my students grew up in South America, so she and I have been planning on trying to make more videos in Spanish because, yeah, just because, right? Like we don't have to limit ourselves to just English. So if you have any topics too, then we can always try to do something. Because what I want to do ideally is like maybe we can say like with the student. that speaks English and Spanish, then we can maybe just do two versions of the same video, right? Where just say show a technique in English, and then we can reshoot it, or maybe reshoot the talking parts in then the other language, like in Spanish or something. So that's the plan. So, but I was saying maybe we don't have to do that anymore, right? Once YouTube, does the auto dubbing thing. Yeah, so maybe we'll still do it anyway, even if YouTube does the auto dubbing, or the auto dub to Spanish or whatever. But we'll still try. We'll still try, because it'd be better, right? If you speak Spanish and you hear them uh, automatically speaking Spanish. Because also too, right, with the dubbing, so if it was going to be AI dubbing, it'll probably just be like maybe a little awkward, like not so colloquial, where it's just not going to flow as nicely. So yeah, we'll still keep it. We'll still keep trying. We'll keep trying. That's all something we've been working on. So we'll try to put those out soon. Yeah, good point. So real Spanish beats auto dub always. It'll be like kung fu movies with the dub. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it'll be something like that, where, uh, yeah, because there's so many different slang and stuff in different languages, so that's usually pretty hard for people to, just like even humans, to translate. So maybe the AI will like give some weird some weird translation and some weird dub. So. Yeah, so we'll keep trying. Oh, cool. Miter 999. Also, hola de Texas, mucho gusto. Yeah, mucho gusto a ustedes en Texas. All right, yeah, so we have yeah, cool. So speaking of other languages, right? So yeah, we'll keep at it then. So it seems like there's a big world out there. So especially the languages that I can speak are Spanish, English, and Mandarin. So I want to try to make more videos in those. And we already have so many. It's all pretty much all in English right now. So except for a few, we have an old one in Mandarin, and then a recent short in Mandarin. And then we do have like a small, like maybe like 3 videos in Spanish. So yeah, I want to be adding more into all of them. Like, why not? Cool. Like my solo drill is very important for grappling. Yeah, yes. And so there are kinds of like say if you've done wrestling, right? There's different ways you can go down on the mat. You can be doing what we call like mat wrestling drills, where it's like solo moves, but you go through like the different sit outs and all that stuff. There's all different things. And then yeah, if you want to add more weight, like the Bulgarian bag that was mentioned earlier, yeah, totally. You can basically make it more intense if you're alone. All right, so I'm gonna have to sign off, but thank a really really cool conversation. I really want to thank everyone for commenting. Let me know if there's any subject you'd like us to talk about. Hope you enjoyed what we talked about. Hopefully it's helpful. So yeah, feel free. Also, I guess got to mention, like, you can always become a member of our YouTube channel if you want to become a member of our academy. That's on our website, catchwrestlingalliance.com. We also have one-off courses. One of my favorites is the Pressure Pass Volume 2. Those are techniques I use all the time. I used them even in the Pan American Championship a few months ago and back in November, where I got the gold medal. It was like a huge division too, had several matches. So we try to put those in a one-off course. You don't have to become a member. We have a bunch of stuff on our website as well. Or if you just want to be nice and support us on our YouTube channel, you can become a member. We put a bunch of different videos on there too, just for members. So all of it is appreciated. All right. Yeah, thank you, Miter999. Appreciate appreciate you too for checking it out. Okay, so our main goal is to help you to wrestle better, and then together we can keep real wrestling alive. Oh, one last question. Any upcoming catch events? Yeah, if you can, well, I was gonna say, like, if you compete and if you, any chance you can come to LA, we're gonna be doing more local ones here in LA. Hopefully, we can do some like matches um, as well. Not so many, like, not so much tournaments. That's not necessarily like how catch wrestling was necessarily done. I know there's kind of been a draw for tournaments or like a because I think nowadays like so many jiu-jitsu tournaments, people just expect tournaments. Um, but I think we'll definitely be doing like single matches. All right. So with that being said, thank you very much. Feel free to continue like commenting if there's anything you want us to cover. All right. Okay. So see you next time. Thank you. Gracias.